From COVID to China to Iran, the nightmare keeps getting worse and worse and worse. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, Easter Sunday, April the 4th. And happy Easter, happy Passover to all. And here we are once again with another week in the books and a market that remains ridiculously strong. But listen, who's going to argue? I mean, at the end of the day, we don't argue. In the meantime, this first part of our update, or Bubba's Bottom Line, is brought to you by our friends at Family Farms. And of course, they are aligned with us in wanting to help farmers do a better job at protecting what they have, because at the end of the day, it comes down to in protection and be able to defend yourself against adverse markets. So here we go. And of course, our new administration is back in talks and secret deals with those nuclear talks in Iran. Just what we need. Let's make sure we arm some others now so that we can continue to see some major destruction in this country as the immigrants flood the border with wearing their wonderful T-shirts, and of course, as we spend billions of dollars on housing, on bringing them in and letting them walk away, okay, and then collect benefits. It's a wonderful world. Where's the Disney song? Okay. In the meantime, as I said, you've got the issues being dealt with in Iran, which we already know how bad and how much money the last administration with President Obama and Vice President Joe Biden had sent over to Iran. And where is the connection? One has to ask themselves, what is the value of arming an enemy? Okay, what is the value of funding someone who'd like to see you dead? To me, it makes absolutely no sense. Okay, I don't. Again, listen, I don't understand half the stuff that's going on right now in the world, because it's pretty ignorant. Okay, from the global lockdowns to the locking out the virus protection. Something seems amiss in this country and in the world, and it obviously can only lead to disaster later. Okay, but I think we've talked about this in the past, and does the administration really have the best interest of Americans at heart, or is it something else? And I'm not just talking about the administration. We've talked, for many, many months about the NBA and between the movements that are going on here and what's going on in China, and how they ignore what's going on in China for the money. Okay. But of course, they service the issues here for the money. It's amazing how it always comes back to money. And now MLB, Major League Baseball, is fine with playing games in Cuba and training in China, but has a problem in the state of Georgia with their human rights. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, that something seems amiss there. I mean, we're worried about what's going on in Georgia, yet we're allowing things to happen in what we consider to be the worst human rights, the worst areas of the world. Okay, and here we are with a situation that being totally ignored. Well, the state of Iowa seems to be doing something about it. Okay, they're now Iowa governor signs a bill into law, okay, allowing not only purchase, but carry of guns, okay, which, look, I believe that we should have permits. I believe you should have, as they say, it's called a FOID card, okay. I agree that they need to be registered, okay. But you can see, we're already starting to see some more Second Amendment battles, and by the very nature of what Iowa has just done, okay, it is telling you that we're creating an environment for a civil war, okay, or a revolutionary war. We are creating an environment for a potential overthrow. Again, you cannot keep people down, and especially when you make them poor people. Okay, life itself comes down to money. Okay, and if you start taking things away from people, you're going to start to see they don't. Unfortunately, which we'll talk about more in our commentary today, but typical Americans, lazy, sit on the couch, do nothing type of stuff. Okay, but suddenly when you start to take away their abilities to do that, they suddenly rise up. Okay, and like I said, we'll talk about more of that. But on the good note, you saw a jobs number last Friday. Okay, that was first of all, I don't understand how the hell they can release a jobs number on a Good Friday into an illiquid market, but fortunately, it worked out. Okay, it was a good number. But when they decided to put the note out, they didn't know that it was going to be a good number. So, you could say if they knew, then it didn't matter. But they didn't know because obviously this was scheduled, a year in advance. But when you look at it, okay, naturally the numbers are going to be good as we see more states open. Okay, you're going to see more jobs. All we're really doing is getting back the jobs that we were not working before. There's plenty of jobs available. They may not be the best jobs in the world, but there are plenty of jobs available for people to get if they want to go to work. Now, unfortunately, okay, this moronic stimulus package that they continue to, the trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars we continue to see spent basically is going into the garbage can. We are basically seeing the money disappear into a toilet bowl because the stimulus, first of all, those who think it is free money are sorely mistaken. It is not free money. It is money that you are going to pay for, or your ancestors or your children or grandchildren, not ancestors, but your future generations are going to pay for. The free money is not free. Okay, we are paying taxes. Remember, the government creates nothing but debt. Okay, it would be nice if they would have to live on a normal budget like normal Americans, but of course they don't. And you tie in idiots at the Federal Reserve, which are their models they're using have to be 100 years old. Okay, and of course they refuse to update their models to what is current. It is no different than the inflation data that we have, okay? Because when you don't count food and energy, which is the two biggest expenses for people, okay, how can you say there's no inflation? So this continues to be the same old story of trying to justify the massive amounts of debt that we are going to have to pay. Okay, the massive amount of tax increases we're going to get over time because you cannot continue with debt. Okay, and I see this as part of just some really bad stuff in the future because this can only lead to a disaster as we get further, because what's going to happen is the bills are going to come due, the taxes are going to have to be higher, and we are going to sit here and wonder how we're going to get out. Okay, so you think that it's wonderful to get that $1,400, whatever the amount is, but why don't you go to work? Why don't you get a job? There's plenty of jobs out there. Okay. And I understand if you are truly at risk, if you're from that group, hey, I have no problem. But for majority who are not at risk for COVID, and now especially since I would say that, in my opinion, within the next couple of weeks, whoever wants to be vaccinated will be. Now, many will choose not to, listen, that is their right. As Americans, we've got a few rights left, but they are moving away quickly. But I also, think that we're seeing a changing in our systems. We're seeing a changing in what is really made America, America. And basically, they're trying to make us blend in with the rest of the world, okay, as not the leaders, but as just another part of a pack. And I think that becomes the bigger criminal act, in my opinion, because, of course, our dominance has kept us in power, which has kept us in control, as now you see China is starting to occupy, we won't say battle, but occupy any area out in their neighborhood that is under some duress. China is taking over. Okay. It is happening in the Philippines. It is happening in other areas out there. Wherever there's unrest, China is stepping in. It's like they're accumulating more property. They're accumulating more. And I think when you think about that, I mean, you got to be concerned when we know what China's end game is, and that is to take over the world. Okay. They want to be the powerhouse. They want to be the world currency. And of course, I don't think there's going to be a world currency anymore. I think there's going to be a global coin, which, because the moronic behavior of central banks, not only the Federal Reserve here, but around the globe, has been ridiculous for 400 years, going back to England, maybe 500 years. But here, it's been only 108 now, I think, whatever the number is. But it is brutal. It is ridiculous. It is going to destroy the country. In the meantime, just as a side note of some more loss of freedom, somehow 533 million Facebook users' information got put online. Okay, there was a data breach. Now, you tell me how that happens. To me, it makes no sense unless it was almost done on purpose. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Easter Sunday, and happy Easter to all. Happy Passover to all. Meantime, we're going to step out here for a break, and we'll be back with our market report right after the break here on Bubba's Bottom Line on Easter Sunday, April the 4th. Well, everybody, look at, we've got, a lot of good things, a lot of good sponsors, and a lot of good people that, want to help everybody have a better chance in the investing world. And, it starts with brokerage. Now, I will give you full disclosure, as I always do. I have many brokers. Okay. But there are two that I prefer. For futures and commodities, there is the CTG group. And the reason I prefer them is very simple. They have tremendous customer service. Okay. We have authorized them as the only vendor of our letter of direction trading, which means that if you choose, you can let them trade our signals for you if you want. And again, there is no requirement of that. You have that opportunity. But with them, it seemed like a good marriage, and they take care of our members, which is at the end of the day, all I care about. Okay, is my members being taken care of properly. And I can think of nobody better than the CTG group. And they do trade my accounts as well. And of course, they've got some great managed futures products. And for equities and options, Tradier, look, I love Tradier. I think they're great. I think they got wonderful customer service. I think they're great people. But take all that and say $10 a month. Now, where are you going to pay $10 a month? The 65 cents a contract you pay is going to add up to a lot more than $10 a month. And of course, we have the ability to automate your portfolio through Trader if you choose. Now, you don't have to. Again, we require nothing except for you to be a member of us. Which, if you want to use our brokers, great. We're happy that you do. If you don't want to use our brokers, you don't have to. Again, we're not making you do anything. We want you to make the choice. We are making these things available to you. But our equity portfolios and our hedging can be automated almost 100%, where you don't have to do anything but just let it trade. And our commodity report written by Andy Hecht, you should see these quarterlies. I mean, I got to tell you something. They're spectacular. And they're just so detailed about markets, but it's called Technical. It's available at BUBBATrading.com. You can go check it out. And don't forget about our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/BubbaTrading. That's patreon.com/BubbaTrading. Now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and, of course, my market report. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, April the 4th, and happy Easter. Did you go Easter egg hunting this morning? Okay. You better go now while we can still afford eggs, because, of course, we know the Fed keeps saying there's no inflation, but I beg to differ. In the meanwhile, so markets up week, huge up week, new highs, Dow, new highs, new highs, S&P. Okay. So, from all the bad news that was before, suddenly all the good news. Now, we know exactly why it's good news right now for markets. Remember, good news for markets may not be good news for the economy. Just remember, there's differences, and when there's a chase for yield, it changes the way that people invest. Okay? But Dow, S&P, Brent, all-time highs. NASDAQ, as it looked like it was in trouble, breaks to the upside, okay, and is now, between Thursday and Friday, big breakout to the upside. Russell, although struggles, has had a dramatic rally. In fact, we are short the Russell and long the rest. And, like I said, we're long the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ, short the Russell. But I would suspect, okay, now, Friday, the Russell was up. The markets traded Friday. In fact, we traded the jobs number on Friday together. But the Russell was up huge on Friday as well. But, of course, Friday doesn't count in the world of trading. Actually, all Friday's information will be on tomorrow's data. So, in the meantime, okay, crude is continued to work its way lower. Now, again, it's way up, and it is coming back down, but looks like it wants to test that 58, 59 level. It's been down there a couple of times. And, like I said, we're short at the moment after riding the longs up for a long period of time. But right now we're short. And the metals, we remain short. Now, you can, I got a tremendous amount of hate mail last week from some of the writing I do. And, I don't write controversial, but I write as my positions. But in the metals, they were all down last week, even with the rallies. They were still down for the week. Okay? So take that for what it's worth. Look, I know at some point metals will rally. I'm long in physical metals, but as a trader, I'm short. That's all. We're short across the board except for platinum, because platinum is not liquid enough. The dollar, higher. Now, that's always something to think about, because the concern of the dollar, okay, people buy dollars when they are concerned. That is really the true, bonds and dollars are the true fear index. And of course, the bonds continue to get pummeled, okay? And, they were down again last week. Now, they weren't down bad, but they were down again last week, which means interest rates are ticking higher. Yet the Fed funds rate is still at zero, which means the banks are making a fortune, which has been part of the propulsion of this rally. Okay. But remember this, okay, that eventually something's got to give. Okay. And, a couple weeks ago, remember, they took the SLR, which was they put the requirements back on banks to is how much they can lend. But they're so deep in debt now, not in debt, but so much in outstanding capital, that if there's any problem, if anything goes wrong, it's Katie bar the door. And again, I'm not trying to create fear. I'm just saying to you, so you got a big divergence in bonds going down with the Fed spending $120 billion a month. In the meantime, we're still short bonds. Nat gas was pretty much of a flat week. We're long nat gas, copper. We're long copper. And it was, again, a pretty mixed week. It was a reversal during the week. We don't worry about these things. Whatever it is. We'll adjust to the trend when it takes place. And of course, I don't know if I said bonds and notes, but bonds and notes were lower again last week. And again, that's just rising interest rates but good news for banks. The grains, it was interesting. The funny thing happened on the way to the report. And of course, we wrote out before the report came out, we sent out a note, email and text and said, hey, they're overpricing in bearish action in the grain markets, and we would expect a rally. Now, I did not expect a limit up move, but we saw on Wednesday, the 31st, beans and corn go up limit, okay, and wheat to rally pretty hard. Now, of course, much of the gains were erased on Thursday, probably half. But the very fact that they held on is very bullish in general. And we remain bullish. And of course, we got a little bit of whipsaw in soybeans, but now we're now long beans, long corn, short wheat. And in the protein complex, we're long them all. They were all flat to higher last week and looked terrific. Cattle, both fats and feeders. And of course, the hog markets are just exploding. And I don't see any reason for that to change. I think that we're in pretty good shape. Look, at the end of the day, the markets look great. Now, could that change? Of course it could. In the softs world, we remain basically short everything. Okay. And that is cotton, which is lower for the week. OJ, which is like flattish, coffee, which was lower, sugar, which was lower, and cocoa, which was lower. So we're basically short the world in the softs. And, again, not that we love, again, I don't love a side one way or the other, except when I'm making money on it. Okay. But look, at the end, look at Bitcoin exploding again. It got over 60,000 again, Ethereum over 2,000. That is giving you a message. You can ignore it all you want. We can ignore whatever we choose to ignore, but that's sending a direct message to you that there's more issues that are in these markets. Okay. There's more issues out there to be dealt with. That is why you're seeing volumes pick up, is why you're seeing price pick up, and why you're seeing the market cap pick up, because people are starting to realize that this money printing model that the Fed runs is moronic. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horowitz. We're going to step out of a break and come back with my commentary. It is Easter. Happy Easter to all. And of course, I want to remind you about our partners and of course in brokerage. And again, we have other brokers, but our brokerage partners for futures and commodities, there's the CTG group, which there's nobody better at customer service. There's nobody better at helping their people set up their accounts. And they've got some great managed futures products, and there's more. And they also trade my accounts. So check them out. And I'll have a link for you tomorrow. In the meantime, for brokerage for equities and options, trade here, $10 a month. Really? I mean, I traded last month. I traded 16,000 contracts or so. Okay. For you do the math. I paid $10. What would you have paid at 65 cents? Okay. In the meantime, again, they get great customer service as well. And we have their APIs. We have the ability, if you choose, to automate your portfolio. You don't have to. It's up to you. And of course, family farms, we're breaking. The weather's getting nicer. And of course, we're getting to get outside more. So we'll be going out and working with them. And our only goal is to help farmers do a better job at protecting their money. Okay. And protecting their farms. The commodity reports, equity, Andy Hecht, I'm telling you, if you're a commodities trader or involved in commodities, it's a report you got to read. You got to have it. It's called Technimental. It's at BubbaTrading.com. And of course, our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. Let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and my commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horowitz. And of course, every week I give you a few things to think about, or a few things that I'm thinking about. And, I got to tell you, I'm getting nervous about, we fat and lazy Americans, I'll call it. Okay. We're spoiled as a rule. We've got the best of everything. We got even with what's going on now, we are still the best country in the world. But we're quickly trying to change it. But, it's interesting. And I talked about this earlier today, but, we're basically lazy. It's hard to get people to go out and vote. It's hard to get people to go out to do something. Okay. But now, that you have made these stimulus packages available, you've actually promoted people from staying home and not working. Okay. Now, again, I don't know about you, but there ain't nothing like a good hard day's worth of work. Number one, I think it's important for your mind. Okay. Sitting at home on a couch, eating bonbons or smoking crack and drinking a beer are not, what I would call a good day for anybody. You may enjoy it at the time, but, I think that people need to work. I think that we promote laziness. And I think that you've now started to obviously allow in cheap labor, which will take away many of the jobs of Americans. But there are many jobs available. And you add in, the strife in some of these unions now, like in the teachers union in California, where they're not working because, they're holding out for ridiculous money. And when you look at it, the unions themselves and the money is being funneled to the wealthy. So, you look at this whole situation and, while nobody's paying attention throughout this whole pandemic, who did well? Okay. Oh, Amazon, Walmart, and the big guys, because the governments, especially the left, and again, I'm not going to make this a political issue, but it is more left than right. In the states that were closed, which are left, okay, they forced small businesses to close and allowed Walmart and Target and companies like that to stay open, eliminating the small business guy, which is a sad state of affairs for Americans everywhere, because it destroys entrepreneurs, the entrepreneurial spirit, and allows the power to continue to shift to destroy Americans as we know them. Sad case. Something needs to be done about it. So hopefully we will get off our couch and go out and take care of business. Vote. Make sure you put yourself in the right position, because America was built on freedom, not on restriction. Have a great day, everybody. Have a great weekend. Happy Easter. And of course, what basketball game yesterday? Woo, man, what a shot at the buzzer in Gonzaga. In the meantime, our selection for tomorrow is Gonzaga minus the 4 to win it all and have an undefeated season. Have a great rest of your day. Happy Easter. We'll see you tomorrow with, of course, an update. But as always, I appreciate you spending some time with me. Bubba's Bottom Line. We'll see you next week.